The movie opens with an elderly woman blessing her daughter as she prepares for her wedding. The scene then shifts to the wedding ceremony, where everyone is filled with joy until a sudden noise draws their attention and the scene abruptly cuts. Next, we see another couple, Tasya and Salim, getting engaged. During the ceremony, Salim thanks his adoptive parents, Mommy Linda and Daddy Chandra. He says that if Tasya hadn't worked for them, they never would have met. He also expresses his gratitude for the love and care they've given him since he was a child. Later, while they're eating, Tasya notices a strange old woman staring at her, but she suddenly vanishes. After this, the door of a house slowly creaks open, and a woman whose face is covered with white flowers is shown. As her mouth opens, a butterfly crawls out and flies away.
Comment. Subscribe to Recapss Horror.
Next, Tasya tells Salim she just saw something, an old house she's never seen before. Salim says it's best not to think about it, and then mentions missing a call from his father's cousin during their engagement. When Tasya asks if he still has an aunt, he says yes, but they aren't close and haven't met since he was in elementary school. He adds that she should have come to the engagement, as Daddy Chandra would have invited her. He then goes to wash his hands, but suddenly notices blood trickling from his nose. He wipes it away with a tissue just as his phone begins to ring. When he answers, a man named Ko introduces himself as a master from Lasem and informs him that his aunt, Si Fang, passed away the day before. Ko's voice then begins to break, and the call abruptly cuts off. A moment later, the phone rings again, and to his shock, the caller ID shows it's his aunt. Startled, he answers, and she calmly apologizes for missing yesterday and urges him to hurry home to light the prayer stick in the back room. Confused, as Salim turns to leave, the old woman is suddenly standing there. Salim tells Tasya that Aunt Fang has passed away and he needs to go. She asks about their pre-wedding photo shoot and says they can't cancel their Hong Kong tickets. But Salim insists he has to handle the funeral and the complicated paperwork. His nose starts bleeding again, and Tasya gives him a tissue, noting it's been a while since his last nosebleed. She suggests he rest and let someone else handle it. But he says Aunt Fang is his only remaining blood relative, so he should be the one who bids her farewell. The next day, Salim calls from Lasem and suggests doing the photo shoot there, as the house's classic Chinese design fits their concept. The call then suddenly cuts off, and Fabri tells Tasya that if she decides to move the shoot, he'll still give his best. Next, we see Tasya at the house in Lasem, where the door creaks open on its own, and as she steps inside, she's horrified to see Salim's corpse in a coffin, only to jolt awake from the nightmare. When she checks her phone, she finds the location sent by Salim. She tries calling him, but the number is out of the service area. Worried about Salim, Tasya arrives at the house that same night. She knocks on the door and calls out his name, but gets no response. Noticing that the door is unlocked, she opens it and steps inside, only to see an altar at the front with candles and incense sticks burning on it, and a butterfly is resting there. As she approaches, the butterfly flutters away, and after a while, it exits the house. Tasya continues searching for Salim and moves toward a door when Salim suddenly emerges and asks if something's wrong, but she replies that she's okay. Later, she tells him they can't stay in the house for too long, and when he asks what's wrong, she explains that this is the house from her dream, and in it, he was lying inside a coffin. Salim gently takes her hand and says that in the morning, they'll pray at his ancestors' altar. Maybe her dream is a sign that they need to seek their blessings before getting married. Later, a woman in red stands before the altar as the candles spontaneously ignite. The next morning, friends arrive, and Salim and Tasya step outside to welcome them. As they're still talking, they hear the sound of a motorbike outside. Salim finds Ko there, who tells him he's come to deliver Si Fang's prayer tools. Ko asks if he's planning to spend the night there, and Salim replies yes, to which Ko says if he needs anything, he lives nearby, in the little house right next to the temple. Later, as Salim asks his friends if they're ready for the house tour, something drips onto his head, and he sees it's blood, and a butterfly-shaped mark appears on the ceiling above. Fibri and Harja notice his reaction, and Fibri asks, "What's up?" To which Salim says, "Just some water dripped on my head." That night, Erin discovers a photo album in the house, and as she flips through it, she comes across pictures of a woman. She takes out her phone and snaps a photo of one of them. She shows everyone the photo, saying, "Maybe she'll do Tasya's hair like this tomorrow." Harja remarks, "She's so beautiful," and asks if she's a relative, to which Salim replies he believes she was his great-grandpa's younger sister, Mei Hua, a famous singer in central Java who died young. Later, Fibri joins Tasya in the kitchen, where she says she is still not going to be his model. Fibri replies, "It's not about that." And when she asks, "Then what is it?" he says, "Salim beat me to it." Tasya jokes that he should find a girlfriend instead of fooling around, to which Fibri admits, "I used to like you too." And she replies, "You should have made a move." He asks, "If I had, would I still have a chance?" To which she says, "No." As she turns to leave, he stops her and asks, "What's that?" And she looks into the distance and says, "Maybe the cemetery of Salim's family." Later, while Tasya is trying on her dress, she notices a loose thread. She looks around for a pair of scissors, and when she returns to the mirror, she's startled to see that the room in the reflection looks slightly different. Before she can make sense of it, the lights suddenly go out, plunging the room into darkness. Panicked, she quickly turns on her phone's flashlight and steps out to check what's going on, only to find that the hallway outside looks completely unfamiliar. Heart pounding, she moves forward cautiously when a chilling sound echoes around her, and to her horror, she sees a woman dressed in red standing ahead. Terrified, Tasya turns and rushes into another room, where she spots an altar and approaches it. But just then, the door creaks open and the woman enters. Tasya closes her eyes in fear, but Salim turns on the lights, and Tasya immediately clings to him. Later, he says he's not sure why Mei Hua has a separate altar, unless she died unmarried, and as far as he knows, the prayer sticks on her altar must stay lit by a Tio family member, or someone might get sick, like the nosebleed he had, just like his aunt wrote in her diary. When Tasya asks if he has to stay here now, he says he understands if she can't handle it, but she assures him they're in it together. He thanks her for understanding and reassures her not to worry, saying what she experienced may have happened, because no one lit the prayer sticks after his aunt died. He suggests they pray at Mei Hua's grave tomorrow, hoping it will bring her spirit peace. The next day, they visit Mei Hua's grave, where Tasya and Salim pray. As they're leaving, Erin shows Tasya a hair clip she found in the house. Tasya likes it and asks where she got it, but Erin says it's a secret. Erin then places the clip in Tasya's hair and tells her she looks beautiful. Later, during the photo shoot, Tasya begins to have disturbing visions in which Japanese soldiers forcibly enter the house and attack the people inside. Tasya is clearly shaken by what she sees, and as Mei Hua screams, Tasya collapses and loses consciousness. Later, Fibri asks Salim if he's sure he doesn't want to take her to the hospital, but Salim replies that she doesn't want to go, and says she just needs some rest. Just then, his nose starts to bleed, and he quickly tells Fibri that he needs to go to the restroom before turning and walking away. Meanwhile, Harja is looking through the photos, and he notices something that shocks him. Fibri walks in and asks if he has printed them, but Harja shows him the photo, then quickly gets up and rushes inside. Confused, Fibri takes a closer look at the photo and sees figures standing behind Tasya and Salim. Later, when Tasya wakes up, she overhears Harja insisting they should leave, saying he saw ghosts in the photo of Tasya and Salim. Erin tries to calm him down, reminding him they're there to help, and that Tasya just fainted, but Harja says he don't care about her. At that moment, Tasya hears music playing from the gramophone, and as she walks toward the sound, she realizes it's Mei Hua's song, and to her horror, she sees Mei Hua's ghost standing there. Mei Hua slowly turns and begins to walk away, and entranced, Tasya begins to follow her. Mei Hua leads her to a room where an altar stands, but the ghost is gone. Drawn by the lingering voice, Tasya presses her ear to the wall behind the altar until a loud crack bursts from the wall, and a crack appears on it. Later, Salim breaks through the wall, revealing a hidden room, and inside lies Mi Hua's corpse, its hands tightly clutching a small box. Salim takes the box and opens it, finding 2 rings inside. Tasya says, "It's Mi Hua." A butterfly emerges from its mouth and flies away.
You are still watching? Then like, comment, and subscribe to Recapss Horror.
Fibri asks how a body could have been buried behind the wall for years without Salim knowing, and Aaron asks then, who is buried at the back of the house? Salim admits he doesn't know, but says all he does know is that he must keep lighting the prayer sticks on Mei Hao's altar, or he'll get sick. He adds that tomorrow they'll give Mi Hua a proper burial, and then finish the photo shoot. Harja declares that he's going home tonight, saying he came to work, not to bury a corpse. Tasya agrees, saying it's her and Salim's problem, not theirs. But Aaron insists she's staying to help, even if it means burying a body. Fibri suggests they do it right away, but Salim warns that burying a body at night could bring more bad luck, so they'll wait until morning. Frustrated, Harja calls them all crazy and storms out, with Fibri following after him to calm him down. Fibri tries to stop him, but Harja asks, "Why won't you come home with me?" Fibri says he feels bad for Tasya, but Harja reminds him she's marrying someone else and walks away. Meanwhile, Mi Hua's corpse suddenly moves its fingers. The next day, while Tasya's praying, she begins to sing a song. After a while, Aaron enters the house and is terrified by something she sees. And Tasya, too, is horrified to see a ghost sitting next to her. Later, Salim and Fibri bury Mei Hua's corpse behind the house and place her box alongside her. Later, Aaron finds Tasya in Mei Hua's room, and when she asks, "Why are you smiling like that?" Tasya doesn't respond and silently walks out of the room. Aaron visits Ko, who tells her that there's a strong energy surrounding the place, one filled with grief and sadness. Aaron asks if he can help Tasya, and he says what's happening to Salim is unlike anything he's seen. Still, based on her story and what he knows of the house, there's only one thing they can try, something done there before, though he has never done it himself. Meanwhile, Fibri suggests to Tasya that they leave that night and urges her to leave Salim and come with him. Tasya asks if he's drunk, and then she gets up to leave, but he insists he's not, and says he fully realizes now that he made a huge mistake. He says he's finally doing what she told him yesterday, making a move because he wants to be with her. Tasya replies that she wants to be with Salim, to which Fibri, frustrated, tells her to open her eyes and look around, asking does she really wants to live with a man from a family like his. Tasya tells him to stop, saying she doesn't care what he thinks of Salim. She loves him deeply, and if he has to die because of this matter, she wants to die with him. Fibri apologizes, admitting he might be wrong, but says he can't ignore what he feels anymore. He tries to kiss her, but Tasya stops him, pushes him aside, and tells him he can never take Salim's place in her heart. Salim apologizes to Tasya, saying she shouldn't have to go through this, and that it's all his fault. He explains that since they're not married, she's not bound to him or his family, and if she leaves now, she'll be safe. He urges her to go with Fibri, saying she deserves happiness, but Tasya stops him, saying, "Don't ever doubt my love." She tells him that if he thinks she can live even a day without him, he's being naive. Later, while Tasya is in her room, her attention is drawn to the hairpin, and she picks it up. As she examines it, she notices a butterfly fluttering around the room, and when she turns, she sees a path made of white flowers laid out on the floor. Intrigued, she follows it, and to her shock, she finds 2 dolls placed on the floor. She lifts the cloth covering a painting and is horrified to discover herself and Salim dressed in wedding attire. Frightened, Tasya hurries back to her room, only to find it completely changed. The layout is unfamiliar, and white flowers are arranged neatly on the bed. Confused and unsettled, she turns to find Mi Hua's ghost approaching, walking upside down. The ghost reaches out, and as blood drips from its fingers into Tasya's eye, she's suddenly transported to the past. There, she witnesses a moment from Mei Hua's life a week before her wedding. Banu gifts Mei Hua a butterfly-shaped hairpin he made, saying it symbolizes hope and wishing she'll soar. Mi-hwa smiles and replies, "Let's soar together," as Banu places the pin in her hair, saying she looks beautiful. However, the peace is shattered when Japanese soldiers burst in, wrecking the house and attacking guests. Banu locks Mi-hwa and her mother in a room to protect them, but the soldiers catch him, beat him, and drag him to the others, and Mi-hwa and Tasya watch helplessly through the window as Banu is shot dead before their eyes. In the final vision, Tasya sees Mi-hwa sitting holding the butterfly hairpin and singing in memory of Banu. Overcome with grief, she drives the pin into her own neck, ending her life. Next, we see Tasya alone in the room, singing the song, and just as she's about to drive the pin into her neck, Salim enters and stops her, snapping her out of the trance. He apologizes and tries to calm her down, and Tasya then tells him that Mi-hwa took her own life, and she died following Banu. As Salim comforts her, he tells her that she was singing Mi-hwa's song, and when she asks if he knows what it means, he replies, "Butterfly, wailing and moaning, wherever my moon has gone, let my wings flap strong and carry me to your side once again." Later, Aaron brings Ko, who tells them about a ritual that allows two spirits to be married, and says he and Aaron have prepared everything for it. Ko explains that spirit weddings can be done either between two dead lovers or between a spirit and a living person. When Febri asks who would want that, Ko says he knows people who did, explaining that in those times, such marriages were arranged so that the family's fortune could be inherited, and afterward, the living person could marry someone else. Ko begins the ritual, chanting and burning paper, with two cutouts placed on chairs before him. After a while, a strong wind blows out the candles, and blood seeps from the cutouts' eyes. Suddenly, the ceiling cracks, and Ko says he can't find Vanu's spirit. He suggests they need to find Vanu's body, but Tasya says the Japanese discarded it, and no one knows where it is. Ko says Banu's body was never buried properly, and no prayers were offered, so they need something that belonged to him. Tasya suggests their wedding ring, and Ko agrees, but warns that if it's the only item, there's only one very dangerous way forward, and it must work. Ko explains that one of them must retrieve Banu from the afterlife, while the others have supporting roles. Tasya volunteers, but Salim and others also insist on going, to which Tasya stops them, noting they wouldn't even recognize Vanu. Ko agrees, saying he believes Tasya is the right one for the task, because if Salim goes, his ancestors might take him away. Ko instructs Aaron to stay here and light the prayer sticks, asking Salim's ancestors for permission and praying for their peace and protection. He then tells Salim and Febri to go to Mi-hwa's grave, exhume her body, and bring it back, along with their wedding rings, which are crucial. He tells Tasya that once she's in the afterlife, she must call out to Banu. Though he won't be able to see her, he will hear her and come closer. When she finds him, she must hold his hand and burn the paper with the mantra written on it. Meanwhile, Salim thanks Febri for helping, but Febri says he's doing it for Tasya. Salim replies that he knows, as he heard everything he said to her. He then tells Febri to stay out of their lives, and as he stands to exhume Mi-hwa's body, Febri grabs a spade and knocks him down. Ko warns Tasya that in the afterlife, if anyone calls her name, she must ignore them and not go near, no matter who they are. He then tells her to close her eyes and relax, and as she lies down, she suddenly finds herself teleported into the afterlife. When Tasya comes out, she encounters ghosts, the spirits of those killed by Japanese soldiers in the house. They call her name, but she ignores them and keeps walking, calling out for Banu. Meanwhile, Febri tries to stop Aaron from praying, telling her he is taking Tasya away, and she should leave. She says Salim is still at the cemetery, but Febri insists he's abandoned them. Harja rushes to the cemetery, where she finds Salim unconscious and desperately tries to wake him. Febri stops Ko, insisting he's taking Tasya home, and when he objects, Febri strikes and kills him. He then tries to wake Tasya, but Salim arrives, quietly picks up a tripod, and knocks Febri out with a blow to the head. Meanwhile, Tasya finally finds Banu's spirit. She gently takes his hand, and then, as per Ko's instructions, burns the paper. At that moment, Her body in the real world jolts awake, gasping for air. When she comes out, Salim is overjoyed to see her, and he tells her that he's going to marry Fibri with Meha and then go home. But Tasya insists Meha wants to marry only Banu's spirit, and she has found it. Salim asks how they can continue now that Ko is dead, and he is unsure if the ritual will work, but feels he has to try. Tasya pleads, "Not like this," and Salim asks if she expects him to stay forever, burning prayer sticks and passing the ritual to their child. Just then, Tasya sees a butterfly enter and land on the ceiling. After a while, Fibri regains consciousness, grabs the chair, and hits Salim with it, knocking him down. He then tries to strangle him, telling him to just go and join his ancestors. But suddenly, the lights in the house go out, prompting Fibri to release his grip in fear. He grabs a nearby candle and comes out of the house in terror, where a possessed Tasya approaches him, telling him to stop this. Salim, possessed by Vanu's spirit, appears right behind him and tells him that he wants his ring back. He then blows the candle out, and the scene cuts here. Later, when Erin returns home, she finds Fibri's lifeless body on the floor, with Mehawa's corpse seated on the chair beside him. And just then, 2 butterflies fly into the room and land on the altar. Meanwhile, possessed by Vanu and Mehawa, Salim and Tasya walk, hand in hand, down a quiet road, as Tasya gently sings Mehawa's song, and the film ends here.